What's up, everyone? This is Soul, and this is another episode of Leak Season. This is where I check out some leaks, and I mostly make fun of them, and I talk smack, and I curse, so hide your children, I suppose. We are entering kind of a new generation of leaks, I guess, because now that we've seen the final raid cinematic of Shadowlands, of the Sepulchre of the First One's raid, that actually doesn't really mean too much because there's still going to be more going on. We still have the remainder of the 9.2 campaign, including the stuff that we haven't seen yet. We have the Sylvanas book that's going to come out. We have the possibility of maybe a 9.2.5 patch, which could entail story stuff. I hope it doesn't, because I'd rather just kind of, move on to the new stuff. And who knows, maybe some of the stuff that I had mentioned over this entire league season, maybe one of them is true. As a reminder, I want to let y'all know that I'm going to make fun of everything here. I'm not going to take any of these leaks seriously. I'm going to assume that all of them are super fake because they are super fake. Now, I want to start by playing an audio clip. And this is a bajillion % fake. I know this because I made this myself last night. Just because I felt like it. It's an audio clip. And, if I wanted to, I could say, oh, here's like a demo clip of a possible, here's a demo clip of like the teaser for the next expansion. But this is, it wasn't by the real voice actor. It was just by like someone else. And yada yada yada. So I'm just going to play this thing, and some of y'all might have, if y'all followed me on Twitter, y'all might have seen this. But here we go. I hope it sounds correct.
Champion. A convenient moniker. Savior of Azeroth, slayer of titans, the bane of the old gods, dragon slayer. My kind were left with a charge to protect this planet. They fought and bled for it for countless years, and we all suffered my father's betrayal. I bear his sins and answer with unwavering duty. But you, champion, you're special. Azeroth's chosen and free to do as you will. I love her with all of my being, and somehow you and your people have twisted her. Despite maiming, despite injury, despite your inability to unite, you made her think that you are worthy of her blessings. You're no champion, not of my Azeroth. You're just the champion of your people, your cities, and ships, and poison, and war. You've laid waste to my world. You're a butcher of Azeroth, and I will expose you as the true villain of this story. I will become her champion. I will truly save her. Yours and your kind's existence is her curse, and with my alliance, we will rid Azeroth of you. I declare this to be the last war, where the world itself raises its banners from every corner. The true children of Azeroth will rise against you. I called you friends. I do this with a heavy heart. But my eyes are open. My will is iron. We won't survive under your protection, but we will under mine. For Azeroth.
So, a lot of folks have wanted, they've wanted some sort of expansion or some sort of like return to the roots. Not exactly a return to the roots, but they want something that is not cosmic. They want something that's a bit more down to earth, so to speak, and yet still but still wanted to feel like the champion of Azeroth person is still considered like the champion. It's not like, oh, you're just killing boars again, man. This feels dumb. And the thought in my head was, it's been something like, well, is there a way to kind of demote the champion of Azeroth, to kind of like nerf them down? And so the thought just sort of like, the thought just sort of came to my head that, well, you know what if we were made out to be the bad guys in a sense? Because if we look at the past, if we just look at the past history of World of Warcraft, it's not like we caused a lot of damage, but we've caused a lot of damage. We've killed all sorts of creatures all over the place. There were multiple invasions. You had orc invasions. You had Draenei come in. You had other ships and blah blah blah. And it feels like there ought to come a point where the regular folks on Azeroth are just fed up with this shit. And so the thought, the thought that comes to my head is like, well, what if someone, maybe not Rathian, I just decided it was Rathian, but what if someone like Rathian were to kind of be like, no, I'm going to be the champion of Azeroth because you guys suck. I mean, you guys might have saved the cosmos, blah, 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 but look at what you guys have left behind. You have these people who are constantly at war. You got a sword in Azeroth's back that no one seems to want to give a shit about. Things are in chaos, and there doesn't seem to be anyone, any truly unifying force that's strong enough to be like, hey, here's what we need to do. We need to save our world. That's kind of the premise that I had. And so I thought, well, what if there was this sort of mongrel horde that was led by somebody, and their mission was to save the world, and saving the world meant taking away all these things that have been doing harm to the planet, which includes a lot of the major races who've had dominion over the world, but have caused tons of damage. I mean, like it's thanks to like the Night Elves, or not, it was thanks to the Night Elves that the Burning Legion came, and we can kind of like refer to all sorts of many of these major races as what they've done to like screw things up, where if they weren't around, then things would be kind of okay. Not perfect, but kind of okay. So maybe not Dragon Isles. Maybe it doesn't really need to be that, but I don't know. I thought it'd be cool. And I guess there is kind of a small parallel to that that you guys that you just mentioned, that humans are a parasite, something the Matrix, and now the world itself is going to not exactly the world itself, but some of the more indigenous races of the world are going to rise up and kind of get you ass, because I'm trying to remember, like Proto-Drakes. I think it was Proto-Drakes that were the result of elementals or some shit like that. But humans, humans and a lot of the other races, they started off as whatever, something curse of flesh. I'm not 100% on top of the lore, obviously. I never am. I never will be. But I thought it'd be a cool premise to see, like, hey champions, what about you? So I thought of this as a very personal expansion, where it's going to be up to all these NPCs and the champions, the characters that we play, to kind of look inwards to find out, what have we done, what is it that we think we're doing, thinking that we're saving the planet, but at the same time we're also slaughtering entire races, because we decided what's right, we decided what is good for the planet, but looking around, maybe not. And so if there was a way to kind of explore that idea, that'd be awesome. In the context of an MMO, that seems to be really hard to do, though. But I thought that was like a fun thing. That this is more or less a reflection of what I'd like to see, right? If I were to make my own fake leak, that I would like to see things just kind of get turned around. Before we get started, let's give thanks to the sponsor of this video, Ridge. Ridge makes the super minimal Ridge wallet, a stylish combination of military grade plates and durable bands to hold your life together. I love that its simple design is highly protective of your plastic currency and cash. It even protects from people trying to steal using RFID tech, so I feel more secure when I'm out and about. It comes in a bunch of different styles, colors, and materials. Check out the Forged Ember for all the Blackhand fans out there, and it works super easy. Stuff slides in, stuff slides out, and it easily fits into your front pocket or purse. Favorite thing about it is obvious, it's really small, and without guilt I can fit a bunch of fast food gift cards in my wallet without it feeling super bloated. So let's go, head over to ridge.com/soul and use the code SOUL to get 15% off of your purchase. Let's move on to the submitted leaks. We got 3 to take a look at. One of them came out a couple days ago. I think it was before the Raid Cinematic came out. And there was another one here too that talked about, oh, here's what happens in 9.2. I'm like, oh, sorry, dude, we already know. So that one kind of like invalidated itself. Sad song. But we do have 3 more that I believe are valid. So let's take a look. Starting with EoD Leak. No, I don't even have a no title. No title. Okay, that's fine. 10.0 EoD Leak, Black Talon Expedition. Lead an expedition to the mysterious Dragon Isles and prevent the throne of Azeroth from falling to misuse. Carve out a new home for yourself in this lost land and rebuild the City of Exiles to be a home for all. Azeroth Restored. Further the aims of the Black Talon Expedition in the Dragon Isles by returning to the lands that you love. Several zones have been updated to reflect the passage of time since the Cataclysm shook the very foundations of Azeroth. Create a new character? Explore expanded class options for select races and earn rewards through the new heritage and allegiance system in this new leveling experience. Take the mainland with you into the Dragon Isles. Expedition progress is shared account. What? I don't get this. Like this. They're just jumping into stuff that I don't quite understand. Expedition progress is shared account wide. Okay. Obtain resources, schematics, and unique mercenaries while revisiting updated zones and put them to use back in the Dragon Isles. Yeah, I don't. Am I missing something? Is this like part 2 of a thread? Maybe actually. Dragonkin. Once an exile, now a hero. Lead the mortal races of Azeroth to reclaim your home and heritage from those that would destroy what the Dragonflights stand. Wait, is this a class or a race? And even then, are they mortal or not mortal? Because last I checked, all the dragons are mortal. Again, I really feel like I'm missing something here. Mercenary Skirmish, a new solo and 5-player PvE mode. Recruit and lead armies of mercenaries into battle across Azeroth. Collect and unlock new troops, buildings, and champions for your Radtech band of warriors, and then test their mettle against cutthroat armies led by fearsome commanders. So this, without knowing anything, because this person didn't say anything, really. I like stuff like this. You know, I like having, you know, the opportunity to recruit troops and bodyguards and equip them and power them up and all that stuff. That kind of goes to like what I like about some mobile games. But it feels like, oh, this is going to be like a sort, not exactly like a mission table, because you're going to have, instead of having followers that are just like, you know, circles that you see bounce across things, you're actually going to bring dudes with you. And y'all gonna zerg stuff together. And you get buildings and whatever. It's very dubious, you know, a feature like this, because a lot of what WoW players enjoy, thanks, honey. Yay. Mwah. A lot of what players enjoy is this power fantasy oh man, I got this gear, I got this two-handed thing, I got my Wind Fury going, you know, and you 5-hit combo a dude, you drop him dead in one shot. That's awesome. When it comes to having like mercenaries and stuff, like that doesn't quite, you know, it'll, I'm sure it's fun. I'm sure something like this could be fun. Because it's not like they said it's going to be a PvP thing. But, seems all right. Heritage and Allegiance system. Show the world where you come from and what you stand for. Embrace the Forgotten Shadow, or bathe allies in the Loon's silvery lights as a priestess of the moon. Inspired by characters and organizations throughout Azeroth's history, unlock new armors, weapons, quests, and cosmetics unique to your character's race and class with the Heritage and Allegiance system. I really feel like this is supposed to be like a part 2 or something. Okay, it's like you took talking points from other leagues, but stripped it down of any flavor, didn't add anything new. Yeah, it's okay. So, yeah, I really thought that this is going to be like a part 2 of something else, because I learned so little from this. Oh well. All right, let's move on to World of Warcraft Dawn of Flames. A friend in the industry recently shared information about World of Warcraft Dawn of Flames. They're trying to be different. She shared some interesting stuff about the expansion. The plague and blight is cured after our adventurers finding long-lost knowledge in the Dragon Isles, paving the way to ... restoration, a major endgame feature. With the ceasefire actually in effect, the Horde and Alliance work towards rebuilding zones destroyed by the plot. By the plot. It's kind of a funny way to say it. Given the inclusion of cross-faction play, factions will each have unique events and rewards in these zones. Like Legion had storylines for each class to encourage alt, they have no qualms with encouraging people to multi-faction. This feature, as it was put to me, would make a dynamic world with, quote, lots to do that would gradually advance the zone to unlock more. It sounds similar to what Guild Wars 2 does, but details were sparse because it wasn't entirely fleshed out at the time. Sharding would jack all this up, unless this is meant to be like a region advancement, which basically just means time gating, right? One thing shared was there'd be server-wide contributions. See, another F up, like the Broken Shore, but at a much larger scale. Okay, this person just screwed it up, because whoever leaked this to the person should have the understanding that it's not server-wide, it's region-wide. So messing that up means the leaker is either full of crap or they're just making it up. Hey, this would determine how the zone will look during and after the expansion. For example, players could decide to pick what animals a farm will raise for even after the expansion. If someone really wanted said farm to have boars, they could throw all of their acquired resources towards it. Their idea is that it encourages server community, and I personally await the great chicken boar war. Oh, look, that's cute. They're doing tongue-in-cheek comments on their own fake leak. The Forsaken were affected by the final end of the Lich King and domination and become less morally bankrupt. With that, they're looking to rebuild Lordaeron and the Undercity to establish their new vision. Their storyline revolves around selecting a new formal leader. The Blood Elves seek to turn the Ghostlands into less of a blighted ghost land, and Silvermoon into a place where players actually want to visit. That's a weird way to word that. The Blood Elves, the non-player characters, seek to do things to make it into a place where players, breaking the fourth wall, actually want to visit. On the Alliance side, Gilneas is purified and rebuilt. Ta-da! Also Alliance side, the Dragonflights help the Night Elves create a new tree. which help players grow from a sapling with decisions like what color of leaves it'll have. The dragonflights help the night elves create a tree, which we help grow. Champions will help it grow from a sapling. So this is like a kind of a one side this, one side that. So we are building, night elf, blood elf land, and then here we're doing night elf land. Okay. There will be mythic only dungeons in the restoration zones that unlock after some time, like Borealis and King's Rest and Suramar. One of these is the Ruins of Teldrassil, fighting nightmare forces and tormented night elf ghosts. The Ghanaian dungeon has a fight against a giant walrus. Well, that part sounds cool, at least. Obsidian Archives of Nathriza is a way for them, I don't know who them is, to try and establish proper lore and remove some problematic elements. Oh, they mean the WoW team. For example, they wanted to revisit dragon lore and make it have less quick. It's using the Torghast tech and set in historical periods of Warcraft history. You can go at it with AI NPCs or famous characters of the event, even villains like Gul'dan, other players, or some combination of both. There will be flavor dialogue and banter amongst the NPCs, much like Heroes of the Wait, this went really fast. I have no idea what this is. I'll just go through all the bullet points and then we'll try again. Its overarching questline throughout the expansion continues the storyline of Denathrius and the Nathrezim by exploring their recorded simulation of events the Dreadlords observed and or partook, which is a lot, given their now canon reach. It's meant to be a seemingly irrelevant side story to set up a future expansion, similar to what Final Fantasy XIV does with Trials. That sailed over my head, 100%. They were encouraged by the feedback of the boss rush mode being popular to recreate many historic Warcraft boss fights. There will be a leaderboard and rewards for high ranks as solo or party without NPCs in the party. It will also serve as the equivalent of a Mage Tower and Brawlers Guild blockchain with prestigious rewards for the hardest difficulties. So it's supposed to be a Torghast sort of thing? Torghast sort of thing. Recreating famous battles of sorts. It seems I'm having a weird time reacting to some of this stuff. Some of it sounds cool, but I remember Time Walking. I remember the Caverns of Time. That seemed like it would be cool too. I don't see why they, this leaker didn't need to tie, let's do the Nathrius and Nathrezim stuff together. I think considering that, did they talk about dragons yet? No, they didn't talk about dragons yet. So if this was like a Dragon Isle sort of thing, it could have been as easy as setting up something like the Caverns of Time with the Bronze Dragon fight and do that sort of stuff. So, this seems okay. The main storyline and zone is the Dragon Isles. Oh, well, okay, there we go. Now this seems kind of silly. The capital, dragons have a capital, is a lush area with the thematic areas for each dragonflight like Orgrimmar has for Horde races. Old gods are explored much more, especially regarding corruption of powerful beings like dragons. We adventure with dragons we've met, including the dragon aspects, Ebonhorn. Oh, not that their aspects, but the dragon aspects, Ebonhorn, and Rathian. The main villains are a hostile multi-dragon flight council who've decided mortals are what's wrong with the... Wow, I was just talking about this. Okay. With mortals are what's wrong with the world. They're basically gender flip from the one we're used to. Male, red and green, and female, bronze, blue, and black. My friend said she's thirsty for the pretty boy red one from the concept art that she saw. This is very awkward projection. My friend said that she's pretty thirsty. That's a weird... I'd say almost 100% this is a man who wrote this. Boy needs to get laid, man. Or he needs to find that girl and just fess up and be like, hey man, not man. Hey friend. I like you. I think we got something. I just want to ask you out and see where this goes. And if she shuts you down, she's probably going to shut you down. If she shuts you down, then, just move on. It's cool, man. It's cool. You're trying to produce a leak, man. Focus on that. Not on this girl, okay? Men, right? They explore how life forces can be bad following Shadowlands, much like the light thing. Much like the light thing explored in Argus. The new class is Dragon Brave. Oh boy, it's gonna be healer, a tank, and a caster DPS. A caster DPS, interesting. Great, leather. It draws upon each Dragonflight's magic to do each role. For example, there is a snare related to the Bronze Dragonflight's time magic, a tank mitigation that deals with a dragon scale plate mechanic, a static field from the Malagos encounter as the caster AoE. Old talents are coming back, except this time they'll be spec based instead of having to define a spec. That's kind of what they already are. Specs will have their own talent tree with passive increases and other tools. They already do. The plan is to still include things like popular current talents, but without the drawbacks of competing against other choices of a similar scope. Okay. Legion legendaries return. Wait, they return? For players to swap around and use without having to buy them. Acquisition will be similar to Legion, but odds may be increased. So how do you... So you just get them back? What about newer players? Or what about new characters? What about new players of the game? So day one, are we going to get like all the things that we want that we already have? Or what? Very I want sort of system. There is no bar power system aside from tier gear and legendaries. Due to how wildly popular Classic is, they decided to see how something plays out away from the Legion model. Like Days of Yore, every class gets a new ability when leveling this expansion. The idea is that the restoration zones and Mythic Plus and yada 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 will keep players engaged. I got news for ya. It won't. Master Loot is back for guild groups. Okay, so we know this person is a Mythic Raider who has girl problem. We get to know you. If you make a leak that's long enough, we start to learn things about you. The crafting of pets and mounts as a goal will continue to be a thing going forward, with an expansion of the tech used in the open world reconstruction zones. Okay. 8 dungeons at launch, with the 2 mythic only ones being Mythic Plus in the first patch of the expansion. Threads of Fate is expanded to this. Cool. The mobile game. Oh, look at that. They're doing the mobile game too. The mobile game will be a hero collector that will have a monetization model similar to Azure Lane. So, Azure Lane. That sounds familiar. I've heard of it, but I don't know it. So, plays that game. This leaker plays that game. Has girl problems. Mythic Raider. Okay, cool. Well, the skins are the main monetization. They moved the hot skin team to this project due to how popular their work was. It'll incorporate classic RTS elements into its play, but it's nothing super revolutionary and remains like other make teams move tiles mobile games. According to my friend, the graphics are great though. Everything will be revealed in April and May. Duh. It's all subject to change, but they're already pretty far along in development. They expect the expansion to release this year. Bold words, buddy, who plays this game, who has girl problems, who is a Mythic Raider. Still way too good to be real. I have a feeling that this is his main. This is the leak. This is the leak's main. Way too good. Have I covered so many leaks that now I have standards about like what sounds good? Because this didn't sound great. All right, so we have one more leak to go. 10-0, the legacy of the. Oh, he hasn't been banned yet. Look at that. Let me refresh it. Let me see if he got banned yet. Because this was from yesterday, 7:54 p.m. All right, come on, reload. Oh, no, he hasn't been banned yet. I guess the mods aren't awake yet. All right, 10-0, legacy of the first ones. What up, champs? Since the official announcement of 10-0 is at sight, I decided to give you some insight into the upcoming expansion. Note that I am not a WoW developer, duh, but my brother is. Oh, of course, your brother. Wow. Way to throw your brother under the bus, okay? He moved years ago to the US to work on Team 2, so I got some first-hand information, but I have neither played the developer build nor have I seen much footage apart from a few screenshots on my brother's phone at his last visit. So not only did you out your brother, as for him leaking to you stuff, but he also that he also took pictures. That's great. You're a dick. 9-2. First of all, what everyone gets wrong about the jail or ... Zoval was not in fear of a new, even bigger, big baddie, but rather of some sort of self-destruction of the cosmos through an imbalance of the cosmological forces. Did he watch my video? Or has he been... I'm sure someone else has been talking about that too. Anyway, basically the day one force would dominate the others, the whole system would collapse. He believed that the cosmological cycle and the constant fight between the forces is inherently evil. Let me reread this. The jailer believed that the cosmological cycle and the constant fight between the forces is inherently evil, and therefore he wanted to create a new reality that is basically all about one force that, via mind control, would dominate all of existence so that creation can survive. He was basically some sort of cosmic communist or something. Is that how that works? So he got benched as an arbiter because he doubted the system put in place by the first ones, and that was something the Pantheon of Death considered to be dangerous, ... So he became the jailer because he betrayed his duty as a, quote, warden of death. 925. Now, what about 9.2.5? The last chapter of Shadowlands will lead us back to Azeroth. There, we'll find out that a few years have passed since... Fucked it up. You messed up. Actually, wait, no. Let me rephrase. Let me walk that back. 2 years have technically passed since we first left for the Shadowlands. We have come back, right? We've done things. Leaker, who apparently forgot about that. You know, we have done things, but it technically has been roughly 2 years. Okay. This is not due to a magical time skip, but because the events taking place in the Shadowlands. Oh. Another lesson that I should just read on, you dumbass. During this time, some things have changed on Azeroth, but as far as I understand, they are mainly a build-up for future expansions. There's something going on with the Boar people. Boar people? Dude, they got names. I forgot the names, but don't call them Boar people. If you're going to post a leak, at least, do the research on like what the Boar people are called. Quillboar, right? Anyway, Boar people and the ogres on Kalimdor, which sounded a bit like a copy pasta of FF14's Beast Tribe stories. Then, of course, there is the resurgence of the Scarlet Crusade, and there's also some political stuff going on in Stormwind. Most important is that our good boy Anduin will lay down his crown as King of Stormwind. He will become the leader of a newly formed Horde and Alliance Council that is supposed to ensure peace between the factions. He will stay important, but now with a different role. It seems like he has grown some balls, and he's going to get a Chad new armor. 10-0. Now 10-0. Dragons. We knew about it, and we were right. Dragon Isles is exactly what we're heading for. Rathian has found the Isles. There he met, of course, dragons, but to his surprise, they were not really chatty, but rather crazy beasts with some rabies. I like how crude this is. No, I didn't write this. They're rather crazy. They're rather crazy beasts with some rabies shit. So there's basically some sort of glooming shadow over the beautiful Dragon Isles that kind of distorts the harmony of the flora and fauna there. Rathian senses a threat for the existence and sanity of the glorious dragon species, which is why he's looking for champions of the Horde and Alliance to unravel the mysterious danger. Here we will meet some sort of lizard humanoids that descended from the dragons. They're looking remarkably similar to the snake people on Vol'dun, maybe the same body rigging or something, I don't know. Anyway, they got cozy. They got a cozy new tropical hub that looked to me like Booty Bay 2.0. So you saying that we're gonna be hanging on the beach? Yeah. Features of 10.0. New class, Chronomancer. The Chronomancer will be the new caster and healer hero class of 10.0, and again, one with only 2 specs. There will be a special starting experience for this class connected to the Caverns of Time and the Bronze Dragonflight. I don't know much about the ranged DPS, but the healer spec is supposed to be a mix of Affliction Lock and a reversed Disc Priest. He's basically dodging enemies with very strong dots that do very long dots, that only do little damage but get accelerated through the hard casted heals, which basically leads to a ramp up mechanic with insane damage potential. So the more the Chrono heals, the quicker his dots tick. My bro said it's insanely fun. That actually does sound pretty cool. The Chrono, while he's shorthanding the name already. The Chrono is supposed to be a buff supporter that has some insane short single-player buffs for tanks and damage dealers. The ranged DPS Chrono is also supposed to work with the dot acceleration mechanic, but my bro has only played the heal yet, so no further details on that yet. AKA, he couldn't think of anything to write. I bet you this person's a Disc Priest. Main's a Disc Priest. Revamped vanilla dungeons. Blizzard is going to revive the quote old Azeroth with some revamped dungeons. And yes, there will be a new Razorfen Crawl, I believe. Ooh, that brings back awful memories. As I said, for some weird reason, they're also into the boar people. I actually think it'll be really cool to do Mythic Plus and revamped vanilla content. Caverns of Times and Time Walking Overhaul. This is going to be the big feature of 10.0. Blizzard has apparently spent a lot of time making old content accessible. There will also be a new Time Walking badge system. It's mainly for catch-up gear for alts and loads of cosmetics and even crafting recipes back in the days, boys. I'm not quite sure how it was back in the day, actually. Thorghast 2.0. Thorghast, nice. There will be a dragon-themed version of the Jailer's Gauntlet in the Wormrest Temple, but it is not supposed to be the big thing, because you just said the big thing. Raid. The first raid of the expansion is going to be elemental-themed. We're going to kick Ragnaros' ass a third time or something. It has to do with a big-ass temple within a volcano on the Isle, but it is not particularly fire-themed. Nah, just a volcano. It's all good. Covenant system. Yes, Blizzard is doing Covenant. I hate it when they use that little tone. Yes, Blizzard is doing Covenants again, but this time they are just a cosmetic and story progression thing. I don't have any information whether it is related to different dragonflights or just some random dragon factions, because he didn't want to write anything else on that. Overhaul on the crafting system. My brother, going back to his excuses, my brother doesn't know much about crafting in 10.0, but it is supposed to be rather big again. It seems like the TBC experience let Blizz kind of go back to some old school routes in terms of crafting and also dungeon badges. So there should be decent gear outside from dungeon and raid drops. I don't get it. So it seems like the TBC experience, or maybe he means the Miss the Pandaria experience, because that was the better version, I would say. My opinion. Minigames. During the expansion, Blizzard is going to implement more minigames like the Darkmoon Fair dancing competition. One thing is called Dragon's Chess, but I have no idea how it's going to work. My guess, chess. Now, I did the minigame for the Darkmoon Fair. it is very simple. It's presented in a very cool way, but ultimately it's just like hit 3 to 5 buttons in the right order within like 2 or 3 seconds or something like that. So it's a bit of a memorization sort of thing. Very flashy, kind of disorienting because of the way the colors are. The accessibility is there because it's not only based on sight, it's based on color, it's based on shapes, and it's also based on sounds. So you hit the right buttons for the sound, so it's thoughtful enough, but it's just very, very simple. Anyway, there will be no housing. Although Blizzard is working on a big housing system for the expansions after. Wait, why tell us that there isn't, but that there will be? There will also be no Tinker class. Shit is probably too similar to Hunters and the Engineer profession. This person does not like Tinkers. That's about all I got off the top of my head. I thought I'd share it with you since you'll find out in about a month anyway. Overall, it looks rather promising to me. It'll defo be better as Shadowlands, at least that's how it seems. P-Ace out. Cool. Not bad. There are some okay takeaways. All of these leaks get like a 2. None of these were like great. But I think this one had some of the more plausible sort of things. Not that the premise of, what happens after the whole Jail of Defeat cinematic. I mean, I like this just because I agree with it. It's plausible. And I do like the premise of this because it's not as OMG, everything's gonna end, but at least the premise of this is, hey, Rathian found the Dragon Isles. There's some problems with it. The creatures there, they're not doing so great. Let's help out. And that's kind of it so far. So it kind of puts the brakes on most everything. The cosmic stuff, the threat to like everything, yada yada yada, and it pauses for this. And maybe that's okay. I'm also thinking to myself though, there is a big fucking sword in Azeroth's backside and all that. There are things that need to be taken care of too. Hey Rathian, that's great and all, but the planet's still kind of dying, right? We still need to sort of do something about that. It's not like, as far as I know, the bleeding, like Azerite and all that stuff, that hasn't stopped, right? It's not like with the defeat of N'Zoth, the sword just disappears and the wounds close and Azerite isn't bubbling up to the surface anymore, right? It's still kind of a thing. But anyway, that concludes today's episode of Leak Season. Like I said, we're entering a new generation of potential leaks, and probably all fake. But this was fun as always. I hope, let me know what your guys' favorite was or what some of your theories are. As always, if you could, like the video, subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys for the next thing. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.